Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have you Metaphys deck, brand new, out of the box. I was supposed to go to sleep and then I started playing the deck and I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and make the video on it. It's a really fun deck. It does have its weaknesses though, mainly the lack of protection sometimes during your field. Cards like as a Metaphys can help you with that by lowering your opponent's attack or switching them to defense mode, but because it happens during the standby phase, they're normally able to just switch them back into attack mode. I tried Karibos in one build, but they slow down the rest of the engine, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to a Metaphys dimension and as a Metaphys on the board as soon as possible. Once you have those two, you can pretty much take care of whatever the opponent's threat is, whether it's monsters, whether it's back row. It's so good, man. This deck, it's really fun. But the first thing I'm gonna address is the lack of Metaphys Executor in the deck. In a 20 card deck, your Metaphys monsters rarely hit the grave. Same goes for your spell and traps, because most of the time you're gonna be banishing them using as the Metaphys. So he was just clogging the deck for me. I will try a different build where you maybe want to just search for Executor and the whole deck is to summon Executor. But in a 20 card build for this particular video, I'm not gonna put him in the deck. The rest of the core cards, you pretty much want to maximize them at 3-0. We have 3 Daedalus. I'm only running 2 Metaphys Nephthys because I wanted to try double Lupine, and he's pretty good. You could even bump this guy to 3 if you want to take out a Metaphys Factor, because you can always search Metaphys Factor with your Nephthys. And the real cool thing is that because Daedalus gets to banish, I'll go through the effects, but because Daedalus gets to banish, it's almost like you're running 6 Nephthys. That's why I just cut it to 2 and try to maximize on the Factor. The trap is really good, but I know it looks expensive running 3. You want 3 so that you can open with it, but it's still a searchable trap. So as long as you have 1, you just gotta hope that nothing happens to it. You should be fine. But that's pretty much what you want to get down to. You want to set up your Asa Metaphys and your Metaphys dimension as soon as possible. I did throw in 2 gold sarcophagus. The Lupine works just as well, if not better in some cases, but it's nice to just have a gold sarcophagus every now and then, so I kept it at 2. We're also running 3 Metaphys Tyrant Dragon. This is the guy that's going to help you special summon. He's also the biggest beater in the deck at 2900, so 3200 with beatdown will get over most stuff. Also, if you special summon Tyrant Dragon using a Tyrant Dragon, he is unaffected by trap effects, and also he can attack twice if he's attacking monsters, which is pretty cool. Actually, if it attacks a monster, it can make so if there's one monster, he can actually attack directly after that, which is pretty nice. But the card that makes the deck go, it's definitely Asli Metaphys. It says once per turn you can banish 1 Metaphys card from your hand, and if you do, draw 1 card. So it doesn't have to be a monster. You want it to be a monster, but that's why you can afford running so many copies of all these cards, because they're not going to clog your hand, they're not going to clog the field. You can use them for fodder with Acid Metaphys. When I saw this card, I didn't think it was great until I started playing the deck. Now it says once per turn, if your Metaphys card and its owner possession is banished, apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. Your turn, all monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense except Metaphys. That includes your monsters that are non-Metaphys. Once per turn, change the battle position of all monsters on the field except Metaphys monsters. So that's gonna happen if you banish during your opponent's turn. This card is amazing. Not only does it help you get your engine going, because you can banish any of the monsters to get the card effect. You draw into hopefully your trap. If you have multiples of it, you just banish them to get into your monsters. Like I said, what you're trying to get to is to your trap, and you do that by banishing your Nephthys or just drawing into it. And the really cool thing is that once your Metaphys dimension is on the field, every time you use a Sim Metaphys, to banish and draw, you're activating the dimension effect for basically free, which is great. What effect is that? It says you can target. I'm sorry. If your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can target one of your banished Metaphys monsters, special summon it, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn. So all of your monsters are going to get banished during the next turn, no matter how you summon them. If you, well, actually, if you hard tribute summon them, then they can stay. But if you normal summon them using Factor by not tributing anything, they're gonna get banished. If you special summon them with Tyrant Dragon, they're gonna get banished. You special summon them with this, they're gonna get banished. So that's one part of the text that you can kind of ignore once you know what their whole mechanic is. But here it says, if your other Metaphys card in its owner's possession is banished while this card is already face up in your spell and trap zone, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So there's no advantage to having multiple dimension on the field. That's why you just want to get to one. You don't want to clog your field and set all of them. I did that in a duel and I couldn't use my gold sarcophagus, so that kind of sucked. So you only need the one. But it's crazy because during your turn you can banish with Acid Metaphys. During your opponent's turn, if you banish something like Daedalus is gonna banish, and then you get to banish again during your opponent's turn. So this trap is crazy. For Daedalus, if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Metaphys monster, that being Tyrant Dragon, you get to banish all face-up special summon monsters on the field. If you summon two of them with Tyrant Dragons, the second one will banish the first one. That's important to know, but you can use that to your advantage if you're trying to trigger your own Metaphys dimension, as you guys will see in one of the duels. Also, as I mentioned, if this card is banished during the next standby phase of the next turn, you can shuffle this banished card into the deck, banish one Metaphys card from your deck except Metaphys Daedalus. So from then do you want to search? You're gonna banish Nephthys. Do you want to special summon? You want to banish Tyrant Dragon. Nephthys, if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Metaphys monster, being Tyrant Dragon, you can banish all set spells and traps on the field, which is insane because all these stall decks, you just banish everything they have. Sure, they can chain the cards, but you know, we're talking about Wall of D, Dimensional Prison, Widespread Ruins. All those that are not chainable are going to leave. And the new Sub-Terror trap, if they chain it to this effect, it's gonna be set because, you know, that's part of the effect. It gets set back after the effect resolves, so it's still gonna get banished, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little counter to Sub-Terrors, and also the Sub-Terror monster that banishes kind of helps you out because you want your monsters to be banished. So the Sub-Terror matchup is actually not bad for Metaphys, which is good to know because out of the two decks, this is the one I like playing. And then last but not least, we have Lupine. When this card is normal summon, you can banish one monster from your hand, banish one monster from your deck with the same type as that monster. If this card is destroyed by battle, if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target one of your banished monsters, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So again, this is going to help you get your whole engine going. No matter what monster you have, you can banish the other one using you know, Lupine. So that's why I'm considering running this at 3 and maybe cutting the Factor. But Factor is really good because it lets you normal summon these monsters without tributing, and that's great. But on top of that, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your Metaphys monsters effect activations. So if you have this and you're banishing all the back row, they can't actually respond unless I'm understanding that incorrectly. But anyway, sorry for the long deck explanation. It's a brand new deck, a lot of brand new cards, so that's mostly how this videos go. I will put a timestamp for 10 minutes, which is how long it took, and but hopefully I won't have to stop as much on the replays because I feel like I was pretty thorough in each card's explanation. So here we're going up against Kaiba. The mirror match sucks. I forgot to mention that. The mirror match is really annoying. It just comes down to who sets up first, and that's it. So we're gonna activate Acid Metaphys, banish Daedalus to draw 1, normal summon the Lupine. We're gonna banish or Daedalus from the hand to banish Metaphys from the deck. And on top of that, we have a gold sarcophagus. So we're going to be able to search, banish, all kinds of shenanigans during our opponent's turn. Unfortunately, actually, kind of fortunately, we get to switch Lupine to defense mode. I didn't want to attack because I didn't know what I was going up against. And it's really clutch because it turns out it's Blue Eyes. And he would have banished my very important asset Metaphys. So right here, Daedalus is going to activate to banish a Tyrant Dragon. Metaphys is going to activate to search Daedalus. And then my other Metaphys is going to search the trap card. So now I'm set up for next turn. I just, you know, I have to play around the Dragon Spirit of White being summoned off of Ancient Whitestone. So there's 2 back row. I go ahead and summon my Tyrant with Tyrant. He goes for the Floodgate because he didn't read. He's totally unaffected by the effects of traps. And I'm gonna activate Asset Metaphys, draw another one, you know, do it all over again. Send Daedalus, banish Daedalus to send a Metaphys from the deck. And I could have attacked here again. I'm gonna destroy the face down. I could have attacked this, but I didn't want him banishing my Metaphys dimension. I want my Metaphys dimension on the field because my Daedalus is going to banish during his standby phase, meaning I can just take care of the Whitestone of Ancients, banishing it instead of sending it to the grave and not worry about Dragon Spirit of White. So we activate the trap. Daedalus shuffles, banishes Tyrant. Dimension is going to banish that Whitestone of Ancients. And then I get to search Daedalus. So whatever he summons, I'm going to be able to banish if he were to special summon a Blue Eyes. We're just going to summon Daedalus here. Pitch a trap. Because I'm banishing, that's going to activate my dimension. We get rid of the Protector with Eyes of Blue, and you know, that's game. Like, once you set that up, if your opponent can't get rid of those cards, you pretty much win. Unless it's the mirror match, because the mirror match is it's a whole other mess that I don't even want to get into. You know, it comes down to priority, who banish what first, and it's just gross. Here we're going up against Loomis and Umbra. And they're going to go for Light and Dark. Revealing Gendora. I didn't even notice this in the duel, actually. To get a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Alright, I respect that. So our hand is kind of crappy, but we do have Aloof. So we're going to use him to banish Tyrant. And just because I'm trying to special summon Daedalus. And I'm going to search my... I'm going to search for Asset Metaphys with the Metaphys that I sent with, you know, Lupine. I'm sure you guys are keeping up, but I'm afraid someone's gonna get lost, so I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible. So we're gonna banish the Cosmo Brain. He's going to Dragon Spirit of White, destroy my Daedalus, but that's fine because I have Asset Metaphys, and I can just set up a Daedalus again, banishing Tyrant. Normal summon the other Daedalus, and because he's normal summon, obviously when my second Daedalus gets special summon, it's not gonna affect Daedalus. Shuffle, special summon, banish the Blue Eyes, and then they scoop. Because I have 2 Daedalus, he only has 1 card for Snipe Hunter. For a second I thought I didn't have 5 replays. I was like, what? Yeah, so I feel like I'm really going to enjoy using this deck on stream. Hopefully, actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to stream this weekend, but at any point, this is a really fun deck to just brainstorm with chat whenever I do get to stream it. So Neo's Fusion, easy pickings for us. We're going to activate Asset Metaphys, send a Tyrant Dragon, and we're just trying to... So because... I'm not sure how it would happen, but what I've noticed is that the last card you banish is gonna activate first. Konami should be able to ask you which one you want to activate first, because the standby phase happens. You know, all of them can get triggered at the same time because of the standby phase. So I always banish Tyrant first, so that he's the last effect that that gets asked by, you know, the game. That way I can get my search first and then special summon something. So we're gonna send Daedalus and Metaphys to the banish pile. I destroy this Red Eyes Baby Dragon, and that's super clutch because now he has 2 special summon monsters and both of them are getting banished. Metaphys is going to search my Daedalus. Tyrant is going to activate. Banish them both. And he goes for a Snipe Hunter. Destroys my Acid Metaphys, which is smart. Unfortunately for him, I do have a second one. And then he misses on the Daedalus destruction. So I'm just going to add the Tyrant back. We're going to go for the draw. We pick up a factor. That's going to let me normal summon Tyrant Dragon. Go for the beatdown. And that's easy game. That card is so good, man. I can't believe I was saying that's like a 1-of in the deck during the pack opening. I'm a scrub. Don't listen to me. Here we have another Loomis and Umbra. And 22 card deck. Kind of random there. We're going to go Acid Metaphys, banish Daedalus, draw 1, go for Lupine. And I'm going to go ahead and use Gold Sarcophagus. Get that double search going with double Metaphys. Daedalus is going to send another Tyrant Dragon. That switches my Lupine to defense mode. We're going to search 1 Daedalus and the trap card. So, then we just special summon set Daedalus. And we're pretty much protected. Opponent goes Cypher Soldier, 3 back row. I'm going to add the Tyrant Dragon. Activate Acid Metaphys. And I'm going to pause it right here because he scoops. But basically what's going to happen is I'm going to flip my Metaphys dimension. Daedalus is going to banish something, activating dimension. Dimension is going to banish Cypher Soldier. My Tyrant Dragon is going to let me special summon Metaphys. Metaphys is going to banish all the back row. He doesn't want to have any of that, so he just scoops. But yeah, like he saw the setup and he's like, alright, whatever, I'm done. Feels good, man. And like I said, running the 3 traps definitely makes the deck more consistent because you have a higher chance of drawing it, not having to search it. But the whole deck searches each other, so it's pretty easy to get to your combo pieces. Another Loomis and Umbra. This is the Subterror matchup. So he's using this card that we just got 3 of recently. Munia Maidens. You can change this card to the face down defense position, so that's going to trigger all the Subterrors from the hand to be special summoned. And you also get to draw a card and discard 1, which is nice. He also has double of that broken trap, but that's fine. We're going to get Acid Metaphys, banish Tyrant to top deck Metaphys, which is Poggers. I'm going to use Cold Sarcophagus for Daedalus, and then I'm going to activate my Metaphys factor. I didn't need to summon Daedalus right here, but I was like, I might as well just put him on the field in case something happens to my Metaphys for some reason, and he has enough attack to go for a game. So I'm just going to normal summon Daedalus using factor. But the real beauty... Oh, I go for the attack here. He does have Subterror Final Battle, so I take 1100. This is the real beauty. Actually, not that one. We're going to shuffle Daedalus to send Metaphys to the banish pile. So he does get to draw. I don't have any set traps, so he doesn't destroy anything. He discards his Subterror Final Battle because he has one, right? He doesn't need it. So my Tyrant's going to activate. We're going to special summon Metaphys. And because I have factor, he doesn't get to respond with either of those. And yep, that was 2 Subterror Final Battle. Both banished, the other one's in the graveyard. Things are not looking good for our boy over here. He does have Umastrix, but he banishes, so anything he banishes is gonna be beneficial to me in some way. We're gonna banish another Tyrant Dragon. And this is where the Pogger plays start. We're gonna search our trap, banish, draw into a Daedalus. We're gonna go ahead and destroy the Maidens. Look at these poggers. So we're gonna activate or Metaphys Dimension. I'm gonna search Daedalus with Metaphys. Okay, I have 2 Tyrants in the banish pile. I'm gonna summon both Daedalus so that my second Daedalus banishes the first Daedalus, activating my Dimension, and I pretty much wipe his entire board because I'm getting rid of the main threat, which is this big guy, Omnistrix. He picks up a warrior, searches for another Omnistrix, but then realizes, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna scoop. So that was the Subterra matchup. I pretty much dominated. I'm not gonna say that's how every duel is gonna go, but it felt nice to beat the other deck that I don't really want to play, but I'll probably end up playing eventually. So Metaphys, really strong, really fun. Other than beatdown, you could probably use something like Grit, because you do leave yourself wide open unless you have, you know, your Lupine, or you have a Tyrant Dragon set up to special summon something. But there were some duels where I just couldn't put anything on the board and I got punished for it. I just died immediately. So Grit would be nice. Restart. Maybe some light and dark version with Light Beast that can help you get to your Lupine easier. Those were just the ideas that kind of came to mind. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. Along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. I really appreciate it. If you want to become a member, you can do that. There's all kinds of things you get. You get emotes. You get a special role in the Discord that gives you access to a chat where I discuss upcoming videos before, you know, people know what I'm working on. You get priority in duel rooms, a couple of things. But anyway, small plug there. Thank you so much for watching, and till next time.